to talk. I'm just curious, staying on President Biden, when he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a Sunday, so here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces, and we had just had pancakes and, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle. And the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And
pancakes and bacon, bro. Don't nobody care what you had for breakfast on a random Sunday when the president called you and said he was dropping out. I wonder if this is even happening. Welcome back to Quality TV. I'm your host, Qua. Quality TV is the channel that you're on right now. I just want to bring you some clips from, or a clip from the interview that Kamala Harris had tonight. You might see this video tomorrow, but I just want to show you guys that it's not real. But without further ado, let's get into the video. To me, this was one of the most important parts of the interview. She was asked a question on how she felt when Biden gave up his position as the presidential nominee to her. And she just completely glossed over the question. I'm going to go ahead and play the clip for you guys.
Carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said that you misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud. I've done 24 years of wearing the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my record has been out there for over 40 years to speak for itself.
And the idea that you said that you were in war, did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
I just one other question, because again, this is all new.
Bro, just answer the question. Why can't neither Kamala or her running mate, they don't answer the questions? Like, the question was clear, concise. Just answer the question, sir. Did you or did you not carry guns in war? But this is the sorriest two candidates that we could have ever had. Like, answer the question. We've been waiting forever for this interview. Number one, you did it with a teammate, and you still can't.
This was not, however many days ago, this was not on either of your bingo cards, especially yours. You had to clarify that you had.
And Donna, who is historically hard on politicians, did not push back at all. Like, Donna, this is not you. This was staged. This fake. Like, give us something real, something raw. Give us something that we can hold on to for you to get our votes. But you're not doing that. You're still doing the same political parades that you've been doing this entire time. Both of them.
Said that you and your wife used IVF, but it turned out you used a different kind of fertility in order to have children. And then when you ran for Congress in 2006, your campaign repeatedly made false statements about a 1995 arrest for drunk and reckless driving. What do you say to voters who aren't sure whether they can take you at your word?
Well, I've been very public. I think they can see my students come out, former folks I've served with, and they vouch for me. I certainly own my mistakes when I make them. The one thing I'll tell you is I wished in this country we wouldn't have to do this. I spoke about our infertility issues because it's hell, and families know this. And I spoke about the treatments that were available to us that that had those beautiful children there. That's quite a contrast in folks that are trying to take those rights away from us. And so I think people know who I am. They know that record. They've seen that. I've taught thousands of students. I've been out there. And I won't apologize for speaking passionately, whether it's guns in schools or protecting of reproductive rights. The contrast could not be clearer between what we're running against. The Vice President's position on this has been clear. And I think most Americans get it if you've been through that. I don't think they're cutting hairs on IVF or IUI. I think what they're cutting hairs on is an abortion ban and the ability to be able to deny families the chance to have a beautiful child.
Vice President Harris, you were a very staunch defender of President Biden's capacity to serve another 4 years. Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
No, not at all. Not at all.
No regrets whatsoever. Like, okay, you hit the fact that he was declining. You're the vice president. You could have easily stepped in and handled things for him. My thing is, you've been lying. The Democrats have been lying. So who's been running the country? Like, this doesn't like bother you guys just a little bit? Like, who has been running the country? If it hasn't been Biden and it hasn't been her, who's been running the country? This has to draw some questions for some people. Like, is this not scary? Is this not scary at all? Is it the donors that's running the country? Is it the deep state? I don't know, but none of us know. So who's been running the country? Is it them? Is it whoever's running the country in the shadows? Are they the reason that things are this bad, or is it actually her in place of Biden, or is it actually just Biden? Like, give us something. This interview gave us nothing.
I have served with President Biden for almost 4 years now, and I'll tell you, it's one of the greatest honors of my career, truly. He cares so deeply about the American people. He is so smart and loyal to the American people. And I have spent hours upon hours with him, be it in the Oval Office or the Situation Room. He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment and disposition that I think the American people rightly.
Well, that wasn't clear during the debate he had with Trump. Trump actually won the election already because Biden was the candidate. And Trump destroyed him during the debate, but he's this strong, very intelligent, but the debate showed us who he was or who he had become.
Deserve in their president. By contrast, the former president has none of that. And so, one, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I am so proud to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary.
A new way forward, turn the page on the last decade. Y'all had the House for 12 of the last 20 years. It's whatever you're talking about, turn the page from, y'all did it.
To where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago, where there is some suggestion, warped I believe it to be, that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's what's at stake as much as any other detail that we could discuss in this election.
Who did they lift up? Who's been lifted up? The migrants. That's the only people I see today that's been lifted up by the Democratic Party. Only the migrants. That, again, she was in charge of the border. She was. She lifted them up. She didn't lift us up. Biden, they didn't lift us up.
Because we haven't had a chance to talk, I'm just curious, staying on President Biden, when he called you and said he was pulling out of the race. What was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a Sunday, so here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it. There's no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces, and we had just had pancakes and, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were sitting down to do a puzzle. And the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided to do. And I asked him, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And
Pancakes and bacon? Like, bro, you had to do this whole dance with your words to just answer the simple question. Like, pancakes and bacon, bro, don't nobody care what you had for breakfast on a random Sunday when the president called you and said he was dropping out. I wonder if this has even happened. Did this actually happen, or this was just an elaborate story, just like this scripted interview? Like, come on, bro, get better.
And that's how I learned about it.
And what about the endorsement? Did you ask for it?
He was very clear that he was going to support me.
So when he called to tell you, he said, "I'm pulling out of the race and I'm going to support you."
Well, my first thought was not about me, to be honest with you. My first thought was about him,
Very human.
to be honest. I think history is going to show a number of things about Joe Biden's presidency. I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative, be it on what we have accomplished around finally investing in America's infrastructure, investing in new economies, in new industries, what we have done to bring our allies back together and have confidence in who we are as America and grow that alliance, what we have done to stand true to our principles, including the...
What allies? What allies is she talking about? Russia? Or is it Ukraine? Israel? They're all in war right now. What allies? Bring up. All this happened when they got into office. What allies is she talking about? I don't know. Mexico?
one of the most important international rules and norms, which is the importance of sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I think history is going to show not only has Joe Biden led an administration that has achieved those extraordinary successes, but the character of the man is one that he has been in his life and career, including as a president, quite selfless and puts the American people first.
I just have to ask you.
That's cap. Go to BidenCrimefamily.org and look up all the things that Biden and his sons have done. They're getting rich off the wars that they're starting or not stopping. Like, selfless, no, selfish.
Both about two standout moments, aside, of course, from the addresses that you both gave, but standout moments that were perhaps unexpected during the convention. You mentioned one of them, Governor. A moment that you shared, that the world shared with your son, Gus. You were speaking, the camera caught him, so incredibly proud of you, so emotional, saying, "That's my dad."
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop the video here. Overall, the interview, it was very disappointing. It was scripted. And Donna, she should be ashamed of herself, because if you don't know who Donna Bash is and what she's famous for, I'm going to show you a couple clips of who Donna Bash is. And you can see that this whole media thing, CNN, they're on their side. But I'm going to end the video there. Just go watch the interview. I hope you want to vote for her. I hope you got what you needed from the interviews. But this interview, not interviews, singular. Thank you guys again for tuning in to Quality TV. If you made it this far in the video, please like, subscribe, and share the content.